In this video, I'll show you how to filter out a table. I'll cover two examples. One using the filter function, which is only available on Office 365, the subscription. And if you don't have Office 365, there's another way that we can do it using the advanced filter capability that's pretty much been around for a while. So let's start with the filter function first. Say, for example, I have this table here, and I want to filter out some things like the records that are just under a certain department or records that are under region. So what the filter function does is you can just type filter, you can select that, and it's going to take two arguments. There is the array, which is the table that you want to filter out. So I'll include the headers. This is fine. I'll just include the headers. Control Shift down arrow, comma, and then include. So what this include does is this is our criteria. What do we want to include as our filter? Let's say, for example, I just want to have the department, this area. Actually, since I started with A1, let's start with C1. I want to have that equal to, let's say, equal to, I don't know, accounting. So I would type accounting and close parentheses. Well, actually, this is a note. If it doesn't find anything, you can say something like, just something like NA. But really, you don't need to put that in there. But I can put this in here. Close quotes, close parentheses, press enter. And now you'll find that we have our record. There's only one record that's for accounting. If I look here, there's only one record for accounting. If I put another value here, let's say not accounting, let's say this was legal, there should be a couple more, not illegal. Press enter, and we'll have two records, right? And the reason why this is a number here is this particular column is set for general. Let's make that a short date so it looks at it correctly, right? A better way to do this is, instead of always having to type that in, let's have some values up here. I am going to take this, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and let's move this down, right? So here I'm gonna put some input. So I can just say, instead of that saying legal, let's point to something here, back to the department here. Now it brings that NA because there's nothing, right? But if I didn't have that NA, it's bringing back a calculation error because it's looking at H2 and it finds nothing, and it's a calculation error. But if I put back a value here, accounting, put a value here, press enter, now you'll find that it brings back that value. Now we can also do more than one, multi-criteria. So if I want to say legal, let's put legal here, right? So there's two values. Let's say I want to have any records that are legal, but after March 1st. So I can put in the March 1st date here. And here, I would have to add another filter here. And I need to do it a little differently because remember, it only took two arguments, the array and then that criteria. What we can do is we can put multiple criteria, but we're going to have to do some almost like math functions. So in this sense, I want to bring back the date and the department. So I have to multiply that, put an asterisk. So it's going to equal H2, and it's also going to equal a times, or it's going to have that times the value here. So I have to look at the date from B1 to B25. So I'm going to say that is greater than the value here. Add another closing parentheses, press enter, and now we have that value, that one value, that April value that is greater than that. Well, let's say that I wanted to have anything that is legal or West. The first example is I want to have something that is in the legal department and it is greater than March 1st. Let's try another example, an OR condition. Anything that is any record that has legal in the department and West in the region. So that's an OR. Let's delete this. And I'm going to put West here first. And you notice after I deleted it, it brought back both of those legal ones, right? Let's say I also put West here. And nothing's going to change because I haven't changed my function here yet. So let's delete this. And instead of the asterisk for multiply, we're going to have plus. And I'm going to ask for my region here. Is that equal to west? Right? Close parentheses, press return. Let's select this, double click to auto fit. So it's looking for any of the records that have west in it and any of the records that have legal in it. So we have this legal here, but it's east. But all the other ones, it pulled back all the other ones at west. So that's the OR condition. So you can see that the filter function is kind of powerful. Depending on how you set the arguments, it can actually do a lot, and it's kind of neat. It does it on the fly. So I'm going to cover another way that we can get this filtering capabilities if we didn't have Office 365, and that's going to be using the advanced filter. And later on, there's some other cool things you can do with the filtering function, and I'll cover that later on closer to the end of the video. But let's go to the advanced filter option for pre-Office 365 users. So advanced filter, let's say that we decide to use the same that we did before. We'll just use for the department. We're going to look for any of the records that have legal in it. Go to advanced, and then I will filter in place. I'll show you these two options. My list range, that's my list range. Control Shift down arrow to select that. How about my criteria range? It's going to be this region here because we have to have this set up for us to select it with the headers that are the same as that. Press enter, and where do I want to copy to? I don't need to copy to because I selected filter in place. So it's going to filter this range of data. Click OK, and now it just picked out anything that said legal. And you'll notice that when that happened, it filtered this table without that arrows that you might normally see in a filtered range. But let's see how it looks if we decide to put it on somewhere else. Go to clear. We're going to clear this filter, and so now it's gone. Let's do it again. Go to advanced. Now we want to copy it to another location. So our list range, again, we need to select it. Control Shift down arrow. My criteria range, is this selected correctly? Let's reselect it again. And press enter. And where do I want to copy it to? Let's delete that. I want to copy it to F. Let's put it F7 here. Press enter. And click OK. And now we've done it. We have our legal ones, right? If we wanted an and criteria, I would need to put it over here. So let's say I just wanted the east one. Press enter. I would have to redo the advanced filter. I don't want to filter in place. I want to copy it to another location. It's already picked up my list range from before. My criteria range is still those two rows from F1 to I2. I copy it. I'm going to leave it for that particular range. Click OK. And now you can see it's removed it. Now that's the and condition. So I picked out legal and east. What if I wanted to pick out legal or east? I'm going to have to move that down there. And we're going to have to change some things here. Go to advanced and copy to another location. We're going to have the same list range. My criteria range has changed. I've got a value here in row 3, so I'll just change it to 3. So it's going to go F1 to I3, F1 to I3, and copy to, I'm going to keep that range. Click OK. And now it's picked up everything, everything that says east, right? And anything that says legal. You can see the only legal here is that one, and it's west. So that's the OR condition. So that's what you can do if you don't have the filter function. Now here's some other filter tips. Now if you really like this filter function that's available in Office 365, there's another way that we can use it, which is pretty cool here. So let's say that we have some blanks here, right? We've got these record blanks and we don't want those to show up. What we can do is use the filter function to do that. Type in filter. What is my array going to be? Let's include the headers here so it'll bring those back. Select that and include each one that doesn't have a blank. So I'm going to select that range, the first column and then the second column, third and fourth column. If they don't have blanks, I got to put these into opening and closing parentheses, right? So I'm going to multiply that by this column, and it doesn't have blanks. I need to change this one. This should be A20. I missed a cell there. I have to put that one in opening and closing parentheses. Also multiply that by the third column here, and actually have that in opening parentheses does not equal to blank, 2 double quotes, close parentheses, and then the last one. Multiply that by the region. Does not equal to blank, double quotes, 2 double quotes, close parentheses, and then also I forgot to put the opening parentheses here, have a close parentheses here, and press enter, and now it's given me, oops, let me change this one. This should be in a date format, right? So now it's giving me these 13 values, right? Because there's a value here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 out of 20 rows, right? So it's going to give me back 13 records here, right? Including the header. So that's the way that we can get the records back here if we've got blanks here. Now, if we didn't have filter, there's actually a way we can do this too. So I'll go to insert a column here, and we can just use a function called isBlank, right? So I can say, is that blank, right? I'll say false, right? But I have to do it for all 4 rows. What I need to do then is I could wrap that in an OR function. OR. Open parentheses, is that blank? Oops, I forgot to, I removed that SI there. Is blank. Then is blank, is that blank? And then is that blank? This one. And then the last one is D2 blank. Press return. Yep. I forgot to put a closing parentheses at the end. Press return. And it's false. So because none of them are blank, right? Double click to fill down. And then I have my trues here, right? So I can just say blank. And here I can put in the filter. And I can just say true. Look for the ones that are true. And it'll give me the same. Whoops. We'll look for the ones that are false, because I want those 13. And then I have my 12 records, 13 including the header, right? So that's the way we can do it if we didn't have the filter function for that, right? Here's another filter feature that we can try. Let's look for duplicates. Let's look for these duplicates between these 2 lists. What the filter can do, if I type in filter equals filter, and I'll have to combine this with another function. I want to look at this array, and I want to count if, open tab. I want to count this based on the criteria here, right? Close parentheses, press enter, and it's going to give me a count of those values there that are duplicate, right? Low standards shows up twice. So that's that function there. So the filter is actually kind of useful if we had 2 lists and we want to just see which values are common between both lists and bring out that value. Now we can also do this in Excel, and we can use the countif function actually for this and just filter it. So I press Control C to copy, bring it over here, Control V to paste, bring these values, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and double click that to auto fit. And we'll just use a count function, count if, right? Count that value to that value, but lock in the G2. So I'll just press F4 here. And then my criteria is going to be that value, right? Count low stand under that 1 cell, press enter. Now, if I drag it down, or I'll just double click it to copy the formula down, you can see that it sees low standard twice here, right? It's going to count twice. So I can just say, I'll just call this one count. I'll just need to sort this now. I'll just go under sort, custom sort. We'll sort by the full name, click OK, and you notice that, it shows up here anyways, but now you've got this count here, and all you need to do is just filter it now. So we'll just filter anything that is 2, right? And now we've got my list here. Alt semicolon just to select those cells that we highlighted. Let's give a yellow highlight, and then we will clear that filter. You can see it's picked out these names here, and this one's not in order. There's another bonus here. Let's see if we can sort this. And we can put in a function here called sort. This is also one of those Office 365 functions, close parentheses. And you'll see that there's going to be a problem here because I selected the headers here for it. So you can see that it's selected full name here. All I need to do is go back here. And instead of going from A1, let's go from A2. This one will be AC2. And that should also be C2. So it's not include the headers. Press return. And then we've got my list. Ali Prudman, Epriat Dady, Lowell, Stanner, Manda, etc., etc. So these are the ones that showed up more than once. And that's the way we can do it if we didn't have the filter capability in Excel. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.